Welcome to Food Travelers, everyone. If you are new to the channel, consider subscribing, and if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. In this episode, we are heading down to the Lone Star State once again to have some awesome Texas barbecue. And in this first location, we are at Cattleack BBQ over in Dallas.
Yes, I'm actually really excited for this place. I read a lot about this restaurant and about how they started the restaurant, and just looking at all the pictures as you're walking into the restaurant, there's all the famous barbecue chefs who are on the side printed on there, who kind of inspired Todd as he was kind of explaining to us when we met him at the door. Well, it was pretty interesting and kind of inspiring just to listen to all the stories about that.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool wall. He has it all along the line on the left side of the building, and the line that actually goes into the restaurant that you order, it actually stretches out, so at least there's something to look at other than your cell phone while you're out there waiting in line to kind of wait to go grab your barbecue. But yeah, Todd, he was really awesome, and they took us to the back and showed us the pit area and everything and all the things they were cooking, so that was really cool that we were able to go back and look at all those things and ask them questions.
Yeah, that's definitely a plus. Anytime you're invited to the pit area or you're allowed to go watch how all the magic happens, it's always a great plus and pro of a restaurant there. So starting off here, I do want to also mention that they are only open Thursdays and Fridays from 10:30 to 2 p.m. and the first Saturday of every month. So they're pretty much, from what I know, is they will open until they're sold out. So definitely do come here early if you're planning a trip.
Yeah, that's definitely a common trend among those really popular barbecue places down there, where pretty much at open it's going through. They make a certain amount of meats per day, and so you have to go in early. So you'll see long lines for these really popular places, and Cadillac is one of those places. It'll line up, and then pretty much they'll sell everything until there's nothing left, and usually it's not that long before actually they run out of a lot of the meats, which is a lot.
Yeah, and also having that mirror wall to wait, like Simon said, it's great to just watch everything and how something else to look at. And also back here, I remember they were explaining to us how they kind of start their fires is having this starter.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty unique. I can't really remember. We've been to quite a few barbecue places, both in Houston before and in Austin. And having spoken with them, I think they're the only ones that I remember at least mentioning that they actually have a pit that they actually do just for their starter wood to get the coals out, to get it to the pretty much the temperatures they want before taking it out and sticking it into the other pits to cook the meats.
Yeah, and I think this is really tough job for them, especially at the time of recording. It was like triple digits weather and extremely high, and just to be working out there and make even still in those temperatures to get so consistent with their taste and getting their fire and everything consistently, I think that's really great.
Yeah, it definitely was super hot. I remember when we walked into that pit room in the back, and you can just feel that jump in temperature. And even though the outside was already around 109 degrees or so, just going in there, you could feel the heat there too. And so these guys definitely, they're dedicated to do their job really well, and they're out there cooking barbecue and making really great barbecue at that.
Yeah, so some of the items that they were showing us here in the kitchen was the other smoker with the other meats that they would use for that smoker. I don't quite remember what they were using that particular smoker for. Do you remember, Simon?
I think I remember when they were discussing it, they were saying a lot of the brisket, like we saw back in the back pits, they do a lot of bricks up there, and up in the kitchen up front, they do the ribs into those smokers. So I didn't see any ribs at that time because we didn't really actually look into the actual smoker itself, other than where the wood was going through. But from what I remember, he did say it was the ribs that were being cooked inside the kitchen.
Yeah, and I think the lineup to get into this barbecue joint is a little bit different from a lot of the places that we went to in the past, where they're more open in the other ones that we went to. With this one, they're still kind of, I guess, stuck in the COVID section where there's so kind of like a distance in terms of ordering the food and paying for it. Don't you agree, Simon?
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of distance. They had those little queue lines, and you really couldn't come up to the counter. You kind of had to stand probably a good foot or two away and then kind of go through your order, and everybody ordered. And I kind of have a feeling that maybe prior to everything, it wasn't quite like that. It was kind of more your normal walk up to the counter, take a look. But it seems like maybe they really thought that was more efficient, and so they decided to keep kind of that distance there. So you'll have all these signs like the no leaning. So I have a feeling maybe at some point in time there were too many people that were kind of just touching everything, and so they thought, okay, this actually makes it easier for us that we don't have to deal with somebody just kind of going a little bit over in terms of ordering and being around everything. But yeah, but the way they decorated everything, you can totally really tell just how much Todd really appreciates the history of barbecue. So he has all those pictures and all these kind of small visuals for you to see as you're standing in line, and all the different people, including different, essentially his competitors too, but they're all the people who are all involved with barbecue and have contributed greatly to the barbecue industry, and selling all these great meats, and he really appreciates them for it.
Yeah, definitely, and also I one thing I do really appreciate what they did here is having essentially two different boards with all the menu items there, and also all the special items that they have for the day as well. Because a lot of times is what I notice is when you go to a barbecue restaurant, they will only have it in one area, like pretty much where you're paying for it or right where you're ordering. You don't have it in two different sections. So, and with so many items, it's easily to forget, especially if it's your first time there.
Yeah, and one of the things that kind of actually really stuck out to me was a lot of barbecue places, they do offer those beef ribs, but Cadillac, they actually have the two versions. That at least at the time that when we were there, they offered the kind of the regular beef ribs, but they also had a special pastrami beef ribs that we had, and that was really nice to actually see that there was two different kind of flavors that you can kind of choose from. And we actually did end up getting both, which was great because you kind of get to compare and kind of contrast, and also at the same time you get that great when you cook this really great beef ribs, but then you have two distinct flavors. It's just really nice to be able to taste the two, and when they're really tasty, that makes it even better.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad that we actually ordered both of them and we got to compare both of them side by side. I mean, beef ribs is something that we both really love to eat already, but having two versions of it and both help us having to be able to bite into that's definitely a bigger plus for us.
Yeah, that's definitely something I definitely enjoyed, because even in prior times, it's with a lot of barbecue places, they do have the limitations on when you can get certain meats, especially beef ribs, because it requires so much effort and so much time to actually cook it. And so, we were happy that at least on our trip this time that we were able to find those beef ribs that we kind of keep looking for every time we come to Texas.
Yeah, it was great that we were able to get both of them. I believe that pastrami is a Wagyu pastrami beef rib, and that one is kind of like a specialty item for them. So some of the other items that we got here was also brisket. I believe we had burnt ends as well, Simon, and also we had a crack cake, and I don't quite remember what's the other two sides that we got here.
The dessert was the crack cake. The two sides, I believe we had coleslaw. That was one of them. And I wasn't so sure about the other one. I remember the coleslaw. I ate that one a lot. The other one, I think it was a broccoli salad.
Oh yeah.
I think. But it was actually, their sides are really good as well. I really did enjoy both their coleslaw and that broccoli salad. And it was definitely something I was glad that we did order because, you know, we have all the meats and you have this kind of savory, and just having that balance with the vegetables, it helps cut down with you know, a lot of the savoriness and the fatness from the meats. And so then it just, you know, each bite as you take after, it doesn't feel like you're getting overwhelmed with just so much meats. And so it's a nice balance to actually have those.
Yeah, that broccoli salad was actually pretty good. I enjoyed that one a lot. It's definitely different from a lot of other places that we went to in terms of having that as a side. So as you watch me bite into that pastrami beef rib, man, that thing was so juicy. It was still like just oozing out in terms of the juiciness on that.
Yeah, it was just really dripping. Those things were awesome. And they're huge. They're huge. Definitely one could feed at least 2, if not 3 people, depending on how much you eat. I know there are people out there who can eat one by themselves, but it is a lot of meat for that one. And they do sell the beef ribs, as I think most places do, that sell barbecue and sell beef ribs. They sell it by just one rib itself, so you can't kind of just get the meat. You got to buy actually that one rib itself, and then so it was exciting that we were able to get 2 of them and have these 2 huge rib bones with nice juicy rib meat on it and being able to try. But yeah, even with the rib bits, I really did enjoy the burnt ends as well. It's a little different. I know we've been to, like I've mentioned before, quite a few barbecue places, and the burnt ends for them are a little bit different. It definitely seems like it has a really great crust to it, and just that bite. There's something a little bit different about it. It was really, really flavorful. It was really had that bite where once it hits your tongue and you chewed it a bit and you kind of had those flavors come in. It really just stuck out to me.
Yeah, so in the dessert we had the crack cake as mentioned earlier. That one is actually really, really good. It was really, really moist, just like the meats. You have that nice crust on the outside, and then once you bite into it, it's nice and soft and moist in the inside of the cake. So overall, I really, really enjoyed this place.
And to wrap up the episode is our notables, and for this first notable is the burnt ends. A nice, great crust, but has great flavor to it and great texture. Definitely a recommendation if you are here to pick up these burnt ends.
And for this notable is the pastrami beef rib from Cadillac. I really enjoyed this one. It was really juicy and fall off the bone, just layers and layers of amazing flavors. Definitely try this one if you get to try it at Cadillac. And to support our channel, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for the YouTube algorithm. And for more photos, follow us on Instagram. See you guys on the next episode.